the fire within. What if I told you that the greatest power a human being can possess is not strength, not wealth, not intelligence, but self-control? Epictetus, once a slave and later one of the most respected Stoic philosophers in Rome, taught that freedom is not given by birth or status. It's earned through mastery over your own desires. He said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." This is the story of how discipline, not passion, not pleasure, becomes the key to ultimate power, setting the stage. Born in chains. Epictetus was born around 50 AD in Hierapolis, Phrygia, a small Greek city under Roman rule. He was not born into privilege, nor fortune, nor opportunity. He was born a slave. Under the ownership of Epictetus, a powerful secretary to Emperor Nero, his body was chained, but his mind wandered free. He could not choose what to eat, where to live, or how to work, but he could choose how to think. Every day he witnessed cruelty, indulgence, and the chaos of imperial Rome. He saw senators consumed by greed, generals addicted to power, and nobles enslaved by pleasure. From the depths of his servitude he saw what others could not, that those who appeared free were actually slaves to their desires. It was in that furnace of oppression that the philosophy of Epictetus began to form, a belief that freedom has nothing to do with chains and everything to do with control, the core of Stoic discipline. To Epictetus, life was divided into two realms, what we can control and what we cannot. Our thoughts, choices, and actions, these are within our power. Our health, reputation, wealth, and the opinions of others, these are not. The Stoic path, therefore, is not to chase what lies outside, but to master what lies within. He told his students, "When you are offended, remember, it is not the thing itself that disturbs you, but your judgment about it. Every emotion, anger, jealousy, fear, desire, begins not from the world but from how we interpret it. And by mastering interpretation, we master ourselves. To live with discipline is to guard the gates of the mind, to say no to impulses that pull us from reason, to remain calm when the world demands reaction. Discipline is not suppression. It is the art of self-command, desire. The hidden master Epictetus taught that desire is the root of suffering, not because pleasure is evil, but because uncontrolled desire turns the soul into a puppet, jerked around by every passing temptation. He once asked his students, "Do you wish to be invincible? Then do not enter into contests you cannot control. Desire is a battle we often lose because we fight on the wrong field. We try to control outcomes, people, fortune, but these are beyond us. Instead, the wise man trains himself to desire only what depends on him." When a student complained about loss, Epictetus replied, "Never say, 'I have lost it.' Only, 'I have returned it.' Your child, your spouse, your friend, they were never truly yours. They were entrusted to you by nature, and now nature has taken them back." It sounds cold, but it is not. It is freedom from attachment, the kind that blinds reason and corrupts peace. To live with self-control is not to reject the world, but to love it without dependency. To engage in life fully, yet never let its storms dictate your inner calm, the training ground of the mind. Epictetus turned his philosophy into a daily practice. His school in Nicopolis was not a place of debate. It was a training camp for the soul. Each day his students were reminded that philosophy was not words, but a way of living. They were told to practice voluntary discomfort, sleeping on hard floors, walking barefoot, fasting, not to punish themselves, but to prepare for loss, pain, and uncertainty. When you suffer willingly, the world can no longer break you. Epictetus would say, difficulties are the things that show what men are. The athlete rejoices in the challenge of the arena not because it is easy, but because it reveals his strength. So too the philosopher welcomes hardship because it forges virtue. Through every struggle he trained his mind to respond, not react, to pause between impulse and action, and in that pause choose mastery. This, he taught, is where true freedom is born. The slave who became a master. One of the most remarkable truths about Epictetus is that he never sought wealth or fame, though both were offered. He chose simplicity, teaching from a small hut, owning little more than a lamp and a cloak. He said, "It is not the man who has too little, but the man who craves more who is poor." This was not poverty, it was independence. He owned himself completely, unshaken by external fortune. When his leg was broken by his master, a story many accounts confirm, he did not scream or curse. Instead, he calmly said, "You will break it." And when it snapped, he merely added, "Did I not tell you so?" He could not control his master's cruelty, but he could control his own response. That is self-mastery. That is what it means to be truly free. Freedom through restraint. To most people, freedom means doing whatever you want. But Epictetus saw that such freedom leads only to slavery. Slavery to appetite, to anger, to comfort. He flipped the definition. Freedom is the ability not to be controlled by what you want. He told his students, "Would you be unconquerable? Then never desire what is not in your power." This is the paradox of Stoicism. Restraint creates power. By limiting your impulses, you expand your control. By saying no to temptation, you say yes to sovereignty. Modern life is filled with distractions, endless noise, comparison, indulgence. Epictetus would remind us every scroll, every craving, every reaction is a test of mastery. If you cannot control your attention, your emotions, or your tongue, then you are not yet free. Freedom is not an external condition, it's an inner achievement. The path to mastery. Self-control is not a single act. It is a lifelong discipline, a sharpening of the soul through awareness and practice. Epictetus compared the mind to a fortress. You must guard its gates against intruders, fear, envy, anger, greed. Each time you resist an impulse, your walls grow stronger. Each time you surrender, they weaken. To build mastery, he taught 3 exercises: awareness, know what you can and cannot control. Discipline of action, do only what aligns with virtue. Acceptance, welcome whatever happens as part of nature's plan. He said, "Do not seek for events to happen as you wish, but wish them to happen as they do happen, and your life will go smoothly." The master is not the one who bends reality to his will, but the one who aligns his will with reality. Modern lessons from an ancient slave. Epictetus's wisdom reaches far beyond Rome. In modern life, where comfort is abundant and patience rare, his lessons strike with greater relevance than ever. He would ask, "Are you ruled by your phone, by your appetites, by anger, vanity, or the need for approval?" Every addiction, digital, emotional, or material, is a form of slavery. Every moment of restraint is an act of freedom. When you delay gratification, when you choose focus over distraction, when you respond instead of react, you walk the same path Epictetus once did. The Stoic doesn't aim to feel less. He aims to be less controlled by feelings. He doesn't reject pleasure. He simply refuses to worship it. This is not suppression. It is transcendence, the power of choice. For Epictetus, all philosophy leads to one truth. You are not free because of what happens to you. You are free because of how you choose to see it. He said, "Men are disturbed not by things but by the view they take of them. You can be rich and miserable. You can be poor and content. The difference lies in how you govern your mind." Even as a slave, Epictetus saw himself as freer than his master because he had authority over his own soul. His chains were physical. His mind was untouchable. That is the ultimate victory of Stoicism. The realization that nothing external can enslave the man who masters himself. Closing reflection. The mastery within self-control is not the end of desire, but its transformation. When you channel your will toward virtue, every temptation becomes training, every hardship becomes fuel. Epictetus taught that we are all actors in a divine play, our roles chosen by nature. Some are kings, some slaves, some soldiers. But what matters is not the part we are given, only how well we perform it. He ended his discourses with this truth. Remember, you are an actor in a drama, of such kind as the author may choose. If short, then in a short one. If long, then in a long one. If he wishes you to act the part of a beggar, see that you act it well. Discipline, then, is not a cage. It is a compass. It guides us toward excellence, integrity, peace. Desire pulls outward, discipline pulls inward. Between the two lies mastery, almost the kind of mastery that even chains cannot break. So when you face temptation, anger, or fear, pause. Ask yourself, who is in control? Tiona, my desire or me? And in that question lies the doorway to freedom.